everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Corridor Conversations. I'm your host, Trevor Smith, Senior VP of Economic Development at the Iowa Lakes Corridor. And today we are talking about a new program that we launched this year at the Iowa Lakes Corridor called the Homegrown Talent Initiative. And here in studio with me is Taylor and Callan, who are our first two grant recipients for the Homegrown Talent Initiative, as well as Sara Taylor with Spencer Hospital, who was a part of our committee in the selection process. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Homegrown Talent Initiative, the Homegrown Talent Initiative provides grants of $6,000 to individuals who are from the area originally, graduated from a corridor area high school, went off to college, technical school, trading, some type of post education, and then moved back, secured a job back in the Iowa Lakes Corridor region. And those grants are paid over 4 years, and they can be utilized for student loan debt repayment, mortgage loan reimbursement, or ongoing child care expenses, which are the three biggest barriers for young families looking to move into an area. And so the grant applications for that will open up here at the end of the year. And so we just finished actually our Homegrown Talent Initiative golf outing here this month, and we're able to raise enough funds that we're excited to announce that we'll be able to provide 4 grants next year, one in each of our 4 county regions. And so now I'd like you guys to meet Callan and Taylor. And so Taylor, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're originally from, where you went to school, and what brought you back to the Corridor region?
Yeah, so my name is Taylor Krager. I am from Peterson, Iowa, raised there, and I went to college at University in Storm Lake, and now I currently work at Farm Credit Services of America in Storm Lake and live in Lakeside.
Awesome. And then Callan, how about yourself?
Hi, my name's Callan. I went to Spirit Lake High School, graduated, and went to UNI and Allen in Waterloo for my nursing degree. I ended up moving to Sioux Falls for a few years, working up there, kind of getting some experience. And then we decided we want to move back home. So now I'm currently working in Spencer, living in Spirit Lake as an OR nurse. So, yeah.
Awesome. And before we get into why you guys moved back into the big part of the discussion, wanted to do a quick break and talk about our sponsor, Medlar Coffee, and the Medlar Moments. So appreciate them for sponsoring this episode. And so with that, we always do a segment called Medlar Moment. It's kind of a little icebreaker. And so, Callan, I wanted to ask you, what's one of your favorite things to do or places to go in your hometown?
That's kind of a tough one because there's a lot of places in Spirit Lake that I really enjoy. I would just say a lot of the places I enjoy going are kind of the events that get sponsored, like Art in the Park, flea markets that come around, Memorial Day, 4th of July, all that stuff. So it's kind of fun just, supporting local businesses, going to events around the area. I wouldn't say there's one specific, but it's always fun.
And then, Taylor, are there any hidden gems or anything in Peterson or Lakeside in your area?
In Peterson, Jim's History Barn is really cool. I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but it's a lot of war and military hunting and fishing items. Jim collected a lot of stuff, and if you ever get the chance, it's really cool to see.
And then, Callan, what's your favorite local restaurant? I know it's a tough one. There's a lot of great ones. Is there one spot that you tend to go to, as your go-to?
So this summer, I would definitely say Captain's has been my favorite place to eat, which is not normally a traditional place that you'd think to go eat, but they have very good smash burgers.
No, and then with the new renovations that they have in there, it's a great spot. I would agree with that. And Taylor, do you have favorite coffee shop or spot to get some caffeine in your hometown?
I just love little coffee shops. I think every area has a good one, but shout out Medlar for the coffee this morning.
Absolutely. And then, so Sara, I wanted to ask you, what's one thing about small town life that you've come to appreciate more now that you're an adult versus when you were growing up?
Yes. So one of the things when I was in nursing school is I wanted to be known for who I am at my place of work versus just a number of a nurse. And so I think that's been great, just getting to know a lot of people. Also, now that I have children, you really appreciate small town safety, the options they have for, gosh, kids' activities are just, you don't even know where to start. So lots of great things, especially for young families to offer as well.
And then how about you guys? Taylor, I'll start with you. Now that you've moved back, you graduated college, you're working, what's one thing that you maybe come to appreciate more now that you're an adult versus when you were growing up?
Yeah, I would say the support of the community. When you're kind of younger and growing up, you don't really realize everyone who shows up for you, good times and in bad. But growing up and being older and seeing that now and how people show up to continue to support me or community events, and then even like the younger generations now is just something I've really come to appreciate.
Absolutely. And Callan, how about yourself? What's something that you've come to appreciate now that you're an adult?
Yeah, coming kind of off of Taylor, same thing. Just the support of the community. It's been amazing to have that community support behind you wherever you go. Knowing people in the community, going to the grocery store, just seeing friendly faces. You just can't get that anywhere else. So.
Absolutely. And then Sarah, do you want to kick us off with some of our main discussion?
So what made you guys want to return or decide to move back to the Northwest region versus staying in a bigger city or somewhere else?
I can start, and I'll say that I have never really left. That's just kind of always been a thought of mine, like a lot of family and friends, the support in the area, the small community feel. I've just always loved that, and I just kind of knew I never wanted to leave.
What about you, Callan?
Yeah, so living in a bigger city, you definitely kind of get the best of both worlds there. You get, all the amenities. It's so fun, but ultimately, it is scary living in a big city where you don't know anybody and crime kind of gets higher. And kind of our turning factor was we want to start a family and come back to family. And so, just coming back to the safety of a smaller town, there's nothing like it. And just the security, you can leave your car unlocked and, just the little things like that. So there's a lot of safety factors coming back to a small town. So.
And then Taylor, you grew up in Peterson, but now you live in Lakeside down by Storm Lake. But what's one thing you enjoy the most about that community and that area?
Yeah, I would say coming from Peterson and then to Lakeside, obviously Lakeside's in Storm Lake, so a little bit bigger than Peterson. But I would just say it's just the people. You kind of find your new community, and you still have all your people. I still have all my people in Peterson that continue to show up and support. But then it's kind of it's very comforting to know like there's people in these other small areas that will also show up and support, and just building those connections has been really great.
And so you two were our first two grant recipients for this initiative. And so with that, like I mentioned before, we provide $6,000 grants paid over 4 years, so $1,500 a year. So I wanted to ask you, how will this grant help you guys specifically, as a young person coming out of college, getting into the workforce? It can be utilized for student loan debt, ongoing child care expenses, or mortgage loan reimbursements. What are you guys using it for? Callan, I'll start with you.
So I'm using mine for student loans. As you know, nursing school is not the cheapest, especially when you go to a private one. So it definitely helps with student loans.
Taylor, how about yourself?
Student loan debt as well. Just being a young adult, going through college and then starting, you have all the college debt, but then you have all the expenses that just seem to add up. So this is very helpful.
Yeah, and then Sarah, I want to talk a little bit about the process a little bit. So we opened up applications in late 2024 into early 2025, and we had about 20 applicants and brought in 6 that ended up doing an interview. Tell me a little bit about what stood out about these two, and maybe your experience on the committee and seeing, all of the applicants.
Yes. Well, first of all, we had a lot of great applicants. I mean, there were no bad ones. They were all great applicants. These two stood out specifically because you can tell just from talking to them today, they have the passion. They're very genuine, good-hearted people. and they're here for the right reasons. And so that was really fun to hear you guys' story. Kind of brought me back in time a little bit to 10 years ago when I moved back and where people want to be. I would say the application process was pretty smooth. Everyone was so easy to talk to, this is part of your story. This is who you are. It's easy to talk about things you love and why you enjoy being back here. So I think in general it was exciting to see all of the people that realized they wanted to be back in the area. So it was great.
And why do you think an initiative like this is important for the future of our communities?
Yes, I think a lot of times when you're getting done with, maybe high school and you want to go spread your wings and fly and learn all the things, everyone has to go through that, but these gals help set it up. Like, I'm in the same generation, and it is okay. There's so many things to offer, and nowadays we have apprenticeship programs. We have so many things for high schoolers to offer right now that you can start right after high school, which is wonderful too. So I think it's important just to keep growing those younger generations here in our small towns and keep them excited about staying here for what's to come in their future.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why we started this program was because when we go out and we talk to a lot of our businesses, our manufacturers, large employers, small employers, one thing that they always tell us is that, when they're looking for a new employee, the toughest thing to find is somebody who has a connection back home. Because if they can find somebody who has a connection back to the region, whether they're from here or grew up coming up here, visiting family, things like that, then they're 10 times more likely to stay in the long term. Whereas when they get employees who are maybe from Omaha, different cities, different states, they tend to only stay for maybe a year or two before they want to go back to their home. And so as a workforce recruitment initiative, it's something that's really important to our organization. And I don't think we could have picked any two better people to help kick off the initiative. And so with that, one thing that's also important about recruiting the people who are from here back is that they also tend to be more involved in the community. And so, Sara, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your experience of when you moved back, and what was it like getting involved in the community, helping out, volunteering, and what kinds of things did you do?
Yes. So when I first got back, I really stayed in the hospital walls. I live in Okoboji and was traveling to Spencer. And I'll say I got more involved over the last several years after I started having children, getting involved in the schools, the art centers. Kiwanis has been a great group. Really getting to know the Spencer community has been amazing. I would travel through Spencer and to Spencer, but I did not know how great this community was till I started getting involved. And trust me, there are a lot of opportunities. And so just giving you that perspective of a widened viewpoint of what nonprofits we have around the area, what service groups, and they do so much. Like you said, community members are always here, so there's lots of options. Being involved just makes you feel more connected too, and will always run into somebody that has a question about something, and then you can be a resource to guide them in the right direction. So it's been great.
And then in terms of barrier to entry, in maybe a smaller town, more rural setting, did you find it easier to get involved versus maybe some of the other places that you've been?
I think so. I think that especially now they're always looking for younger people to get involved. Like they will never sway you away. So I think that there were lots of choices and they're always willing to welcome you with open arms. So definitely it was an easy process to get involved.
And then for Callan and Taylor, I'll start with you. How do you plan, or how do you see yourself getting involved in your community, moving forward now that you decided to plant roots here?
Yeah, so I would say just growing up, volunteering and being involved with like the church, community events and things, and then just now continuing. Farm Credit is they really encourage volunteer hours and work. So I'm proud to say that we've done many events. I've done many events in my short time there, such as like backpack programs and cleanups, things like that. But I think it's just, seeing what was done for me as a kid, it's like coming full circle. It's volunteering and it's kind of being, that middle-aged figure, not the oldest in the community, but, I'm not the youngest anymore. So it's giving back and volunteering time and being able to give those kids the same experiences that I had.
Absolutely. And Callan, how do you plan on or see yourself getting involved in the community now that you've moved back?
Mm-hmm. I can definitely see myself getting involved more now that I'm back. There's a lot of opportunities out there to get involved and volunteer at places. I lean a lot more towards animals, so I would love to get into more some wildlife rehabilitation, volunteering with humane societies and things of that sort. But also just supporting local businesses, supporting our local communities here in all regions. So it's just, been very, very nice to be able to do that for people, get involved.
Yeah, and then one question I had for you, Callan, was, so I know you decided to move back over the last year, and you decided to move back and move on to an acreage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great story that you talked about in your interview. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share a little bit about that, your decision to want to move, into the country, and then what that process has been, because I've also seen your social media, and you guys have some pretty cool projects going on over there. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So me and my husband had been looking for an acreage for a very long time, and we were graced with the opportunity to buy this amazing acreage out in Spirit Lake. It had just been such an amazing process, moving home and getting on some land, getting some animals. We have 3 dogs that just love the country to run. And yeah, it's been fun just connecting with nature again and just being out in the open and just being totally by yourself out there. So it's been really fun. We decided to get some goats.
Okay.
Yeah, so a few months into moving there, which probably was a little soon, but they're great. So we have 3 male goats, and just for fun, they're just pets, but they're hilarious. And they're actually fainting goats, so they're very entertaining.
Oh, wow.
And then we have 11 farm cats right now, which are very good at their job at keeping mice away. And so that is a little part of the community. I have been taking in some ferals from the Humane Society, from people, just from word of mouth, that people don't know where to take these cats, because you can't really take a feral cat anywhere. So we do accept feral cats at our farm, and they enjoy it. They're treated well, so it's been fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we have some additional discussion questions for you guys. So what's one of your favorite seasonal events or festivities that you like to go to around the area?
I can start. Peterson Fire Days. I just think it's such a fun event. It really brings the community together. There's different events, from kids all the way up to adults. So it really includes everyone. It's just Peterson is a very small community, so to see this get going and be an annual event is just such a cool thing.
And for here, I think we're very blessed to have a lot of activities and festivities to be able to partake in. Personally, I really love flea markets. So, we get that 3 times a year, the Labor Day, Memorial Day, and 4th of July. But also Spencer Fair is a big one I look forward to every year.
And then, with our organization being involved in economic development, we're always looking for different businesses, community needs, things like that to recruit back to the area. And, we're curious kind of from a younger generation perspective, what's one thing maybe from a big city or different area that you guys would love to see in our corridor region? Could be a business, could be a type of place, could be a different amenity. But Callan, I'll start with you.
Sure. Coming from Sioux Falls, there's a lot of franchises up there, which is nice in turn. But coming back here, it's really nice to see smaller communal
like restaurants.
Small communal restaurants and businesses.
Hardware stores, things like that.
So it's kind of cool to be able to go that route instead of go and put everything towards a franchise. One thing I would really enjoy to see here that I miss from Sioux Falls is some more sustainable organic food stores. It's kind of hard to find some very healthy options in the stores around here. So it would be nice to have an organic store around here somewhere.
What kind of stores did you have where you were?
So Aldi is really nice. And then Pomegranate Market up there, they have all very natural ingredients. You can go and refill your herbs there.
Okay.
So you bring your own containers and refill your herbs, nuts, spices, anything like that. So they have a honey tap, which is kind of cool. Get hot honey. So it's pretty sweet. So something like that would be really neat to see around here.
Yeah. And Taylor, how about you? What's one thing?
I haven't had the same experience of living in a city like you have. But I would just say like the places to eat, the additional shopping and kind of like some of the more like activities, places where you can go and do things. But I love the area. I mean, this is where you choose to live, and I think the community feel. And then when you get into these communities, there are lots of places to eat. So when you make those connections and you shop at the local stores, I think there's something to be said for that too.
All right, and then we're going to wrap it up a little bit here, but before we go, I just have two more questions to ask each of you. The first one is, if you were talking to somebody your age who moved away, what's one thing you would tell them about coming home and maybe about your experience to help try to recruit them? Taylor, I'll start with you.
Yeah. Again, I would just lean back on the support. The support is amazing. The people that show up, like I said before, in good times and bad. It can be overwhelming at times, but that's such a great feeling to know that you have people. You're going to see people everywhere you go, and I just think that's so comforting.
And then Callan?
For sure, it is. It's very comforting to see people everywhere you go. And two, it's nice to have the experience of living in a bigger city to be able to come home and appreciate what you really have here. So.
And then why do you think the Iowa Lakes Corridor is such a great place to live, work, and play? Callan?
Community, family, and everybody you see and make connections with. It's just very cool. People have your back wherever you go. So.
Taylor?
Yep, just piggybacking off of that, wrapping up everything we've said, the family, community, the support, the connections that you make. It's just awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Callan and Taylor, for being here and also being awarded our first two grants.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you guys are two great ambassadors, I think, for the program to help kickstart it off here in the future. And so we look forward to maybe doing a few more of these in the future and getting you guys back out to our golf outing next year. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And then, Sarah, do you have anything else to add?
I guess for those of you watching this, just spread the word. Remind people that there is this opportunity. It's a great way also to help promote the many things we have here in the corridor region. We have a lot to be thankful for, and so we are very blessed.
Absolutely. And like I said, applications will open towards the end of this year. So if you have moved back within 2025 and are looking for an opportunity like this or to want to know more information, go to lakescorridor.com/homegrown. And also wanted to say shout out to the Spencer Collab for hosting us here today in their podcast studio. If you're ever looking for some office space or meeting space, you can always contact them and find a spot here in Spencer. So with that, thank you guys all very much and have a great day.